I'm just going
Yeah.
to record, and then I'm going to go live to my Facebook, which I have tested numerous times. But we'll just wait and see that that works. Spell this morning. Right.
Let's see.
Okay, so it's doing its thing. Right. Cool. Well, let's get started. So firstly, thank you, Mike, for being here with me today. I am not usually super excited about marketing. It's not my strength.
You sound very human. Yeah.
But there were so many things. If we look, like my book is.
Oh, look at that. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Post-its. There were so many simple steps in here that anybody could do that didn't require to be able to understand the complexities that sometimes is marketing. So thank you for writing a book that is enjoyable. Like, I even took notes in another book as well, which for a topic that I'm not super.
That's wonderful.
It was a really easy read. And as I said, so many hints and tips out of it. So this is book number 7 for you.
Yes. Yes.
So Toilet Paper Entrepreneur, Pumpkin Plan, Profit First, which I am a mastery member of. Then we had Surge, Clockwork, Fix This Next, which we chatted about.
We did.
May, I think, last year. And now this one. So why was it so important to write this particular book now?
So it was interesting through conversations with so many entrepreneurs. I was in Australia now. This is 3 years ago. You and I spent time together. Yeah. And I've been asking entrepreneurs, is your business better than the competition in some capacity? And I don't necessarily use those exact words, but how good are you? And the feedback from small business owner after small business owner is they are better. They feel they're better. They believe they're better. And I believe that's unequivocally true, that small business owners are more invested in the outcome of a successful client journey than the big competition. The people listening to your podcast right now really are looking to improve their business. So we're looking to improve and we serve better, which makes us definitively better. Yet many small businesses don't market accordingly. And I start the book off with a call to arms. If you are better than the alternatives and a prospect is looking for services like yours or a product like yours, and they don't discover you, they're going to find someone, but someone of lesser value, someone that's a large company or someone that has a name circulating around, and they could have had you. So that's the client's problem, but it's our fault. So this book, Call to Arms, that's why I wrote it. And then I wrote this exact strategy that is the most effective and the most simple to get noticed, get the right clients, and to win the business and to be a service to those clients.
A couple of things with the book. I'm a massive reader, always have been, but a couple of things I noticed straight away, which I love. So firstly, cover, which is different, nice and bright and colorful. Yeah. But then this.
Yes, the poster.
Yes, and I'm just like, I've never, ever seen that before. Again, website down below that we can go to where there's so many resources for us. And something I loved, the name and so on the spine, a lot of hardcovers do, but this little on the front, I was like, oh, this is a book I need to keep and I need to use often because that just made it feel a little bit more special.
More personal.
Yeah, personal.
It's funny, it's different. That was the suggestion of my publisher to put the on the front. It wasn't my request, but they said based upon the reader trends, people want to have a more intimate relationship, and they said just by doing that, it's like a diary. It's perceived differently. The poster is something that we strategize internally, and it is part of our marketing. That the ultimate endorsement for someone to read a book is when you see someone else reading a book. So the author person promoting, saying, you got to read my book, is noise, but it doesn't necessarily move people to take action. I mean, your prior fans will, but new people, how do you get new people to read your book? And it's inevitably someone else told you about it. So the only way, or one of the ways that we can facilitate it, is if we can get a picture of Katie Marshall holding up a poster saying, I'm getting different, or I'm doing different. That is a powerful social proof mechanism. Now we have them coming in when people read the book and we ask them, how do you like it? We say, hey, would you be willing to give me a poster or picture of you holding the poster? And a lot of people say that yes. And we subsequently post on the website, they put it on social media, and it's the ultimate form of social proof, I think.
And
at least one form of it.
This morning I was trying to hold that and get a photo at the same time.
It's not easy. It's right.
You
have to find a partner. Yeah.
Yeah. And something else I liked, first page into the book, is down here, which is I can't see it too well. It's
I see it.
The logo. That's the publishers.
The publisher's imprint. Yeah, it's called Portfolio, and it's a guy or gal throwing a javelin. Yeah. Javelin.
And looking up, and then you've got the you there, and I just
the word you there with an arrow pointing to it. So when I sign books, I started adding that in, and people are like, oh, that feels so inspiring and that's cute. So as we were going through the edits of this book, I said to my publisher, can I write the word you and we can put it in every single book? They're like, yeah, we can do that. So we added that in. And these are kind of like Easter eggs. Something you discover that you didn't necessarily know was there. And there's a little extra, ooh, this is a little bit different. It's a form of attracting, it's a form of keeping people engaged in a new way, or seeing the book in a new way. So yeah, you can see I embed those techniques in my own book.
And those things I found, like before I even got very far into the book, there was those little things that I was already feeling familiar and like motivated and so on. And, these things wouldn't have cost ridiculous amounts of money, but they're just real. And that's one thing I think I loved so much about the book. There's so many little steps that we can do that aren't us forking over, thousands and thousands of dollars. And they were some great examples.
That's right.
One thing in the book as well that I really, was again, multiple. Your introduction was like half a page, and it finished the introduction, which I loved, because sometimes introductions, I feel like they're chapters long, and it's like, okay, get to the point. But you finished off the introduction with, let's market the shit out of your business. So right away, we know what we're doing, why we're doing it. Which
and also I wanted readers to know that I am all in. I really do believe small business is the economy. Like your success, Katie, is a big deal to you. It's a big deal to me, all the way across on the other side of the pond. And the reason is you're a contributor to the economy. I believe in small business more than anything. So I want readers to know I'm all in on this. Like we need small business to be successful.
Yes. And one section that I just want to read out, because this really, I actually wrote in my notes, ouch, is on page 19. Marketing is not a game of hide and seek. It is a mission to be as obvious and noticeable as a lighthouse. Don't hope to be found, demand people see you. You're the beacon of the best choice in the fog of mediocrity. I'll say it again because you can't hear it enough. You have a responsibility to outmarket your competition. Your journey may have you riding the bench at times, or a lot of the times, but unless you try and keep trying, you will simply be that person with so much potential who never gets discovered. Dare to step up and stand out. Dare to be different. The world depends on it. And I think that I was like, and we're like page 19 again, and I'm like, ouch, okay, I'm gonna take this seriously. Tell us more about the framework that you use and explain to us throughout the book, the DAD framework.
Yeah. So the introduction of the book, the first chapter, is the rallying cry. And I really want to implore people about the necessity to market. The reason is I believe on our shoulders, we have the angel, but we have the devil too. Mm-hmm. The angel is saying, you need to be noticed. The world needs what you have. You are important. And that's the truth. The devil's saying, if you market, it's about ego. If you put yourself out there, it's bothersome. You're interrupting other people. It's embarrassing. Don't do it. So there's this strange kind of bipolar feeling in our mind saying, I need to be noticed without being noticeable. I need to stand out without anyone seeing me standing out. And so these fighting factions cause a null effect. We do nothing. So I really want to implore people, the only way to overcome this devil is to realize that the world is begging for you, starving for you. They can't say anything to you because they don't know you exist. But if you have clients referring you business, that's the ultimate demonstrative. If you have clients that you're already serving and they're telling about you to other clients, if they're bringing business into you, they believe in you so much, they're carrying marketing for you on their shoulders. They're begging for you to market. Once you understand the responsibility and once you can feel it emotionally, and you're like, okay, I'm doing this. I found there is a framework that satisfies effective marketing, that if we do these 3 steps, your marketing is likely to be successful. But if you skip even one, your marketing is crippled and will likely be ineffective. Now, I don't guarantee following these 3 steps will hit it out of the park. I can guarantee if you miss any one of these 3 steps, your marketing will likely not have any effective result. The 3 elements are this. First, you must differentiate. That's the first D. And what it means is to do something that is inconsistent with the common noise in the market. Look at how everyone else is marketing, and they are telling you that's the one way, not how to market. There's a whole reason, and I'm doing a keynote a little bit on this later, but there's a whole reason why we are blind to what we see regularly. It's called habituation. Basically, our mind is designed to ignore things. The way through it, there's multiple ways through it, but only 3 that are effective, and 1 for marketing, which is being unexpected. If you do something the mind wasn't anticipating, hasn't seen before, it lights our brain up and we give it attention. So the first step of effective marketing is do different. And one word of note is different does not mean outrageous. I'm not saying wear a clown costume and march around. That is different if your competition's not doing it, but that may be outrageous. And outrageous, if it's incongruent with who you are, won't satisfy customers. There'll be this incongruency. And we need to also address the next step, which is A, attract. So first differentiate, then A, attract. The model, by the way, is called DAD, the 3 stages. Attract means whatever we do is different, also must then speak to the customer's interests, desires, their curiosity. There must be attractor factors. In the book, I documented somewhere between 15 and 20. I don't recall the exact number at the moment, but different ways to compel an audience to stay engaged. Basically, you want them saying, oh, this is for me. This is serving me. I'm being entertained. I'm being educated. I have a problem that this looks like this can solve. That will keep people engaged. But you then can only keep people engaged for so long before they say, well, what do I do now? Or they fade into oblivion. So the final element of this framework is direct. We must move people quickly and efficiently to a specific direction. What do we want them to do? And the key in the direct stage is it needs to be reasonable and it needs to matriculate. So reasonable simply means that for the customer, when they experience this, they say, okay, this feels like a safe move. The example I like to use is if you're looking to buy a car and I say, hey, give me $100,000, we're going to find your dream car, give me that $100,000 as a deposit, that's outrageous. Chances are you won't do it. But if I did say, give me your cell number, and that way I can send you photographs of our inventory at this lot and other lots so we can find your dream car, that is a step forward, but it also feels likely safe. And when I say matriculate means to move to the final transaction, which is the sale of the car. I need to move efficiently. The mistake that some people do in their marketing is they're not moving forward to the final transaction. It's like going to a website that says learn more, when the whole reason we went to the website was to learn more. And now we're going in this kind of circuitous pattern. So always have transactions. Give me your cell phone and I will give you pictures. That's a transaction that moves as efficiently and safely to that final transaction, which is the sale. That framework, DAD, differentiate, attract, direct, is what we have to have in all of our marketing, those elements. And if you miss any single one, the marketing is crippled. If you can check off all 3, the chances of success have increased dramatically.
And also there's a website when you buy the book that you can go to that has all these frameworks there as well for you. And also I noticed in the back of the book, they're all there for us as well, which makes it so
in the appendix
easy. Yeah. And you can't really complain that you don't have all the tools you need to get started. And one other thing that I loved in here was your get different experiment sheet and how you explain about experimenting with
Yeah.
the marketing. Can you tell us a little bit
So,
more about that?
of course. So most marketing education is around marketing plans. And I think a marketing plan is great, except one component. A plan implies commitment. I plan to, get in shape. I plan to go to, whatever destination. These are all commitments, and there's often a journey that needs to transpire. Before we commit to a plan, the first question we got to ask ourselves, are we using something in our plan that is likely to be successful? Many people just say, I plan to do Facebook ads or whatever the hot topic or hot idea is of the month without knowing if it'll work or not. So before you plan, we must experiment. That's why I have these get different experiments. Implicit to experiments are potential failure or potential success. It's a learning process. We don't expect experiments to always work out. And so with our marketing experiments, remember the framework. We first must differentiate. We have to do something that someone hasn't done before in a new way, in a new flavor. So there shouldn't be a history if this works or not from other people. So when you try different, will it work or not? And we track it through these sheets. Is it attracting, meaning it's getting attention now, but is it compelling the right audience to stay engaged? Are they taking the action we desire? What these experiment sheets help us determine is that when we do a different experiment, it may be an abject failure, and then we cross off the list, we don't do it again. It may be a wild success, rarely happens out of the gate, but it could. Then you milk that cow for all it's worth. Most cases fall somewhere in the middle. Kind of worked, it was more of a meh. And then we start asking, well, what was the elements that was successful in it? And let's maintain that. And what were the elements that weren't successful? And let's try to modify that to improve that. Most experiments are a retest or a test under an improved circumstance or a new kind of setting and see how it goes. Once we start having hits, and when we do tests, I suggest testing with small populations of our target community. So if you have 10,000 potential prospects, we're not going to test on 10,000 people. Let's try it out on 100 people, see how we do. Try it again on another 100 people, see how we do. So there are low cost experiments. And then once we have something that works, that's when you scale it to the 1,000, ultimately to the 10,000 prospects you have. And as long as it's working, you keep milking that for as long as you can.
And I think that's key. And what I find with my tradies, they don't do anything and then they'll throw a heap of money at something because it's the hot topic. But then they also don't track responses or if that even worked, and they'll say, yes, it worked, no, it didn't. And they actually don't know that to be true. And one thing I talk to my tradies about as well is we have at the moment, and for the past 2 years, tradies have been so busy. So these things tend to fall by the wayside. But what I keep reminding them is whilst they've been lucky through COVID to still have work and a lot of work, that will slow down and potentially stop soon enough. Everything comes up, everything goes down and come back up again.
Sure.
And so we have to start thinking about, and again, we're leading into Christmas for our tradies. So, you can't get anybody to do anything for another probably 3, 4 months, 5 months. Some builders are booked out for even longer. So they're not thinking about this now, but it's something that we need to start thinking about for when that dip happens, to be on the front foot. And things I always mention to them is return a phone call, turn up on time, and leave the site clean. And that will differentiate you from 90%.
It's ironic, right? Yeah, sometimes difference is so obvious, but it's not employed. So maybe it's not obvious. It's just how you maintain the property. Mm-hmm. One thing we could do, marketing isn't only a mailing campaign or email or billboards. There's many ways to market. And one is through performance marketing. Performance marketing is how we present ourselves. What if, for example, every time you do a service starting today is that you brought this really big red carpet. When you arrived at someone's house, you roll the red carpet into their house. And what if you decided to treat their house like it was a castle? Treat it even better than they treat it. And you put on all the clean gear, the booties and so forth, so you don't leave a single smudge. And what if you showed up and say, listen, we want this experience in the services that we provide, not just to resolve your problem. We want you to know that we care for your home as much as you do, perhaps even more, to be honest. And you present that way. Now this is performance marketing. I used to, and actually I'll probably open my keynote tonight that I'm doing in Australia around this subject, is I used to be in technology services, computer systems and so forth. And we had more credentials, more experience. We were better than many of our competitors, and they had ways to argue why they were better. And so we were kind of slugging it out for client after client. And one day, this one company came in and destroyed all of us. It was a company called Geek Squad, who now has a $1 billion, as with a B, $1 billion valuation. What they did was performance marketing. They would dress like geeks. They wore flood pants, glasses with tape in the middle, the short necktie. And that's how they showed up. The most amazing thing is they didn't have the knowledge or experience we had. They didn't have the credentials. They're just willing to put themselves out there in such a way that everyone noticed because it was different. And they lapped up all the business. Just the way we present ourselves alone could be such a marketing differentiator that wins you tons of business.
And I think that's key, that it doesn't have to be expensive.
No.
And start small. Start with those things that actually don't cost you any money. They might cost you a little bit of time, but they don't cost you any money. You don't have to jump into, I'm spending thousands of dollars on Facebook ads a month or whatever it may be. And I think that's where, particularly tradies, I think it's all or nothing. And then when it slows down, then they'll jump on. But the problem is all the other tradies will be doing all the same things at that same time. So yes.
Yeah, and that causes saturation. When everyone's marketing the same way at the same time, it's invisible to the customer because they're like, oh, I know this message is irrelevant to me, and they don't pay attention to anyone's message. It could literally be as simple as your uniform, but do something that's noticeable and different. Do a color that no one else does. Maybe wear 2 shirts to a plumbing or whatever service you're providing. When you leave a shirt behind saying, we got your back covered or something, just something that is different enough that people are like, oh, I've never experienced that before. And that likely becomes something they'll never forget.
And that becomes the topic of talk with their friends instead of just, oh, the plumber come and fixed my leaky tap, which nobody's going to talk about.
That's right.
The plumber come and fixed my leaky tap and did this exceptional thing that was different to everybody. And that's what we want. We want people talking good things about our business. All right. Awesome.
Yeah. It's funny. There was a bank here in New Jersey where I'm based out of that noticed that when people were coming to the bank, they didn't have their child with them. They often had their family pet, the dog. So they started giving dog bones out. This bank exploded in popularity. And people would say, oh my God, it was called Commerce Bank. Go to Commerce Bank because they have dog bones. They sold, seems like this is the number of the day, is for $1 billion to another bank called TD Bank. If you see a consistent thing your clients want or have, like a dog in the house, be the dog bone tradie. Show up always with a treat for the dog or something like that. And you'll start building a reputation for this.
So simple. So simple.
Yeah.
All right. We need to wrap up because we both need to get onto our Profit First Australia.
Yes.
This book, we can get this book in Australia, Amazon, Booktopia, Barnes & Noble, all the usual online places. Is there an audio version yet?
There is. I don't know if it should be distributed in Australia. It's through Audible.
Okay. So because I know a lot of my, I always recommend anybody who's going to listen to read or listen to your books. I'm like, listen to them. Mike is really easy and fun to listen to. So yes, that would be on Audible. That is awesome. So thank you again, Mike, for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And
likewise.
I will get my photo this afternoon with my poster once I have one of my children at home.
You're amazing.
To help me because, yes, it was just awkward this morning trying to do it. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on, Katie. I appreciate you.
No worries. Have an awesome, it's night for you.
Well, you have an awesome afternoon, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Thanks. Bye.